using your smartphone. Some of you might recognize me from a couple weeks back when we met at the 1C21 conference. My name is Stefan, and I'm going to be helping you get started today, or at least I'm going to try. And I have my colleague Andrea here next to me, who will help out sort of behind the scenes. So if you guys have any questions during the webinar, you can just type them in the chat. And we'll be covering most of them towards the end of the webinar. So don't be afraid, we're not forgetting them. We're just doing it at the end of the webinar. Now, if you see me looking to the side every once in a while, it's because we're not exactly in the same time zone. So there might be a little bit of delay, and I can see what you guys are seeing on the screen. So just to make sure that I'm not going too fast. If that's the case, just let me know. Just type it or text it to Andrea, and she'll stop me. I hope that you guys can hear and see me properly. If not, again, let us know. We'll try and see if we can fix that. Now, the webinar is take about 30 minutes, and it will consist of two parts. The first half is basically going to be about how to create panoramas using the VR Maker app on your smartphone. And the second half is about editing. So we're going to look at the VR editor on our desktop, and I'm going to teach you some basic editing functions. Now, I won't go through every single thing today. We don't have time for that. There'll be more webinars in the coming weeks where we cover different things. So again, don't be afraid to ask us. But we'll be happy to answer any questions afterwards. But also, you can attend some other webinars in the coming weeks. Okay, great, Laura. Good news that you can hear me. So what I'm going to do right now is basically share my screen with you, because give me a second. Because I want to show you what's happening on the screen of my smartphone. But again, with the delay, I recorded a short video yesterday, so you can actually see what's going on the screen of my phone. And at the same time, I'll show you with the camera sort of the rotation process. So I think everyone can see my screen at the moment. All right. So what you see right now is the screen of a smartphone. So once you actually signed up or created an account on iStaging.com, you will download the VR Maker app on your smartphone, all right, either via the App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can then log in using your account details. So once you've actually logged in, the screen that you will see if you click on the VR Maker is the following. That's this. This is the main screen of the app. And, oh, sorry, I'm just going to go back a few seconds here. There we go. What we want to do once you're actually at a property and you want to create a new tour, you want to click on the capture button, the pink button at the bottom of the screen, sorry. And this is the screen that you'll see. Now, what we want to do now is place the lens on your phone. So hopefully you've all received your, if you signed up, you've received your rotator and your lens. So this is the rotator, and this is the lens, rotator and lens. So what we want to do, and I'm going to do with you, is place the lens on your smartphone. Now, this might differ depending on the smartphone that you're using. If you're using an iPhone, it might be on the side. If not, it could sometimes be in the center. But this is sometimes a little bit tricky, placing the lens for the very first time. Like, where should I place the lens exactly? But you would want to create a circle, basically, and after 2 or 3 tries, you'll get the hang of it. So once it's actually placed on your phone, what we need to do is place it on the rotator. Okay, so this is the rotator. We want to turn on the rotator. There's an on and off button, all right, that you can see right there. Once it's on, you'll see that blue little light. That's the only button that you have to press. So all the other buttons that are on the rotator are not necessary, no need to use them. So once I've done that, I want to place my phone on the rotator. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. And what's important is that we align the lens with the center of the rotator. Okay, and that again depends on where the lens is on your phone, because this will create the best stitching, the best panorama, basically. All right, so again, it's best to actually put this on a bigger tripod. Any tripod would work. Now, once I've done that, and I've actually, let me just go on my phone here. Once you've done that, what you need to do is connect the app, your phone, to the rotator via Bluetooth. Okay? Now, so make sure that Bluetooth is on your phone, and then you can see that it's connected because the button at the bottom of the screen turns pink. And if it's pink, it's ready to go. If it's still gray, then it means that it's not connected. In that case, turn Bluetooth off and on again on your phone, or maybe turn off the rotator and turn the rotator back on. It might take a couple seconds for it to actually connect. But you can see that it's actually good to go because it's pink, okay? And all we need to do is press the button, place it in the center of the room, and then it will automatically start rotating. So I'll show that right here. There you go. Now you will see a yellow circle. You will either see a red, yellow, or green circle. And that has to do with how well you place the lens on your phone. If it's green, it's perfect. If it's yellow, it could be better. And if it's red, we could try again. The differences are very minimal. So even if it's red, you will get a decent panorama. But again, we will always aim for green. So what you see on the video now is we'll place it in a different position and take a second panorama. Now and you'll see now that it's actually a green circle, which is what we would want. There you go. Now, when you're actually taking a panorama, it'll be important that the height is approximately chest or eye height of the tripod, and start the rotation away from a very bright area. So if it's like a really bright sunny day and you're looking at windows, for example, start the capture away from that to make sure that the lighting is all right. If it's really bright or really dark, you can also use the HDR mode, which is in the app. Now, what you've seen now is obviously it takes the photo, it stitches it together, and we can now preview the photo. So next to the capture button on the left, you can actually preview that photo, and that's what we're gonna look at now. We always recommend to preview every photo that you take before you move on, just to make sure that it's what you want, right? We don't want it that you're done, you go back to the office or you go back home, you look at the photos and one is not exactly what you're looking for. So there you go. This is sort of the panorama that we just shot, right? Obviously, what's important is that you're not actually in the panorama yourself. So what you could do is basically walk with the rotator, or walk with your phone so that you're not in the panorama. It doesn't rotate that fast, so you don't have to sprint. It's you can simply just walk. If you want to walk out of the room, you can use a timer. There's a timer at the top on the capture screen, 3 or 10 seconds. And that means that it will count down from 3 or from 10 and then start the capture. So then you have time to actually walk out the room. In that case, make sure you turn on the sound of your phone. Otherwise, you don't know when it's actually finished, right? Otherwise, you will hear that clicking sound basically. Once it's done, you can walk back into the room and take another shot. Okay. So what we need to do now is we've taken 2 photos, right? You do that in the living room, bathroom, bedroom, the different photos that you take. But we need to create that virtual walkthrough by adding hotspots. Now, I'm going to just put this away for a second. You want to add hotspots that enables you to walk from one point to the next. You can either do that in the app or in the VR editor. and I'm going to show you how to do both ways. So we're going to start with the app. Here we're going to select the panoramas that we want to add into one virtual tour. Okay, so I'm just selecting 2. I can then name the tour. I can change that name, afterwards in the VR editor. It will upload it to the cloud and to your account. And once you click on it, you will see the 2 different panoramas, and you can click on a pano. And once you click on it, what you see is buttons on the top right. And we want to add a hotspot. So you see there a button that says Edit Hotspot. And we would click on that button, click on the plus, and a hotspot will appear. Now what we do then is we place that hotspot in the direction of the next panorama, basically in the direction of where I want to walk towards. Okay? Now it's the standard hotspot is a circle, but it could also be an arrow, or you can customize that hotspot in the editor. So in this case, I think I'm choosing an arrow. And what's important now is that you then choose, the destination panorama. That's basically the pano that you want to walk to, that you want to go to. So you choose that panorama, and all you need to do is click Done in the top right corner, and then it will ask you if you would like to add a return hotspot. Now, what does that mean? It means that if I go from panorama A to panorama B, I also want to be able to go back from panorama B to panorama A. Okay? So most of the time we would say yes. That's very helpful. It will save you 50% of the time if you actually do this. You click Confirm, and you click Save, and you're done. So if you then click on that hotspot, it will actually move you to that point in the room. I'm going to wait a little bit because I think it takes a little bit. There's a little bit of delay right now. There you go. Okay, now when you go back to your tour here in the app, you can actually add an additional panorama by adding or clicking on the plus at the top, and then it will go back to, as you can see right now, go back to the capture screen. So in case that you've forgotten a certain panorama. Okay. Now this is relatively straightforward, relatively simple. Just to highlight that, as you can see right now, right, the circle at the bottom is not pink. That means that it's not connected to the rotator via Bluetooth. So in that way, you can see whether or not you're good to go. Okay, so this is basically the VR Maker. There are a couple more features in the VR Maker app, but I'm not going to go into that today, or not now. We might do that in future webinars. What I want to do now is go into the editor to show you how to basically edit this tour and finalize it, right? Because that's where we ultimately want to go. Oh, so give me a second. So what we want to do is we go to iStaging.com, right? So you've taken all the photos at the property. You go back to your office, or you go back home, and you go to iStaging.com to finalize your tour. So there's a login button in the top right corner. We're going to click on that, and you log in with the same account details as you log in in the VR Maker. So let me just do that right here. We log in, and we will then go to the portal. This is the portal. Okay, there's some stuff about your billing, your plan, whether you're on Ultra or Ultimate. But I want to focus on one thing here, and that's profile. Okay, so we go to profile, and we basically can add contact information in this section, and this contact information will show up in the top left corner of every single virtual tour that you create. Now you can always say or always decide to not display that information inside a tour, and I will show you where to do that in a minute. But right here, as you can see, I've put a photo of myself here. It could be a photo of you, so they know who they're basically talking to, who the agent is, who the realtor is, or it could be a company logo if you want to. Now you see the email, you see my name, my company, and my phone number. All right. Now make sure that you always click Save when you change stuff. Otherwise, you make changes, and if they're not saved, you have to do it again, which would be a pity. Okay, now let's go into the actual tour that we created, and we have to click on VR Editor. Pretty straightforward in the top right corner. So it will load the editor, and this is where you see all of the virtual tours that you've actually created. Now, the one that we just did was actually called iStaging Test, the third one that you saw. But I'm actually going to choose a different one right now of an actual property, so you have a better idea of what a finalized tour could look like. So I'm going to choose the top one right here. So we click on that one, and once you do that, you go into the editing section of this particular tour. Okay, and you will see 6 different tabs on the top. So you see basic information, panoramas, marker editor, manage groups, manage visitors, and touring. Now I'm gonna focus today on the first 3 basically. So the last 3 are for a different day. These are sort of the basic editing functions to create a tour. So for basic information, the first thing that you see is name. You just name what's the name of the panorama or the name of the virtual tour. This is, most of the time, it's the address of the property. Then you can add a description, and this could, again, literally be anything. It could be just a little welcome or a little information, a bit of information about the property, as what I did here. You know, welcome to this beautiful 3-bedroom apartment, etc., etc. It could also be your contact information if you want it to be. So that's up to you. Now, on the right side, you can add a Google Maps location, which obviously is important. And then when we go down, you'll see logo. Now, once you've actually captured, you've used most of the time a tripod, right? And you can, when you go down and you look down on the panorama, you would see that tripod. And with the logo here, you can cover that, okay? So you can cover the bottom and the top. And again, this could be, for example, your company logo. All right, now the logo size, and that depends on the size of your tripod. In the case that you have sort of a wide stand, right, you would make a 75 or 100%. In the case that it's a very small one, you can go for 50. And the contact information here on the right side, that's basically the information in the profile that we just entered, all right, in the portal. So if you show it, you will see it. Obviously, if you hide it, then for this particular tour, it will not be visible. I'll show it now because I want to show you what that looks like. Okay, now at the bottom, again, we click Save to make sure that all our changes are saved. Let's go to Panoramas. Now, Panoramas, this is where you see all of the panoramas that you took. Okay, and you can actually, they're named here. You can name them in the VR Maker, but you can also rename them here. So there are different options, but you can also enter a custom category. All right, now what's important here is that the very first panorama at the top, that's the first one that you see when you enter the tour, okay? So let's say that you want to change that up and say, hey, I want to see the entrance first, or the entrance panorama first. You just drag and drop that to the top, okay? So again, very, very simple. Now on the right side, the 3 buttons, you can obviously delete a panorama if you don't need it or it's not a great result. Or you can copy it, okay? Copy to a different virtual tour. So if you accidentally added a panorama into a tour, but it shouldn't be there, it should be in a different tour, that's a button that you can use. Say, hey, I want to copy this one into this tour, and then you can delete it from this one. So really, really simple. All right, now we go into, let's say, the most interesting part, I'd say the marker editor. This is where we have some basic editing functions. So you see the different panoramas at the bottom. And as I showed you just a couple minutes ago, you can actually add hotspots, right, to create that virtual walkthrough feeling. You can add those hotspots in the app, but also in the VR editor here. So I'm going to show you how to do it here. Again, you have a menu on the left, a button that says hotspot. We click on that, and a hotspot will appear. So you can place that in the direction that you want it to be placed. I can choose a different hotspot, or if I click on this plus button right here, I can customize it. So you can actually make it your own face, or again, company logo, up to you. But I'm choosing an arrow for now. Now, what's important here is that we now choose the destination panorama on the left side. So where do we actually want to go? And this is important because if we don't, and I click save at the bottom, you'll see that the hotspot turns red. Okay, and that means that I forgot to choose a different panel. So let's choose the destination panorama. Okay, we save rotation, and again, it will ask me, would you like to add the return hotspot? And yes, I definitely want to do that. It will save me a bunch of time. Okay, so there you go. Very, very simple. And I would click save again to make sure that it's all saved. Now, you do this for every single panorama. The number of hotspots that you want to add, it's up to you. Again, I think I've said it to some of you. What you would want to do is, I want to see where I'm going, right? So if I click on this hotspot right in front of me, this one, and I would suddenly be somewhere in a bedroom, that'd be weird, right? It'd be strange because that's not where I'm expecting to go. So you would want to create that walkthrough feeling by allowing people to see where they're actually going. Okay, then there are a couple more tags on the left side, but I'm not going to go through all of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on memo here, and that enables you to actually add a bit of a description. And this text, it could, again, be anything. It could be something interesting about the property. It could be something about electrical appliances, anything that might be important. Say, hey, this is good information, and it makes it even a bit more fun to walk through the property, right? So let me just put this memo right there, and I'm going to type something. This webinar is awesome. All right, amazing. What we do, we save it, and the markers are updated, and you're good to go. Okay, so you can add as many memos as you want. Then what I want to do is quickly check the set view angle, this button here on the left. So what this does is it determines which side of the panorama I see first. And to create that virtual walkthrough feeling, right, when I'm walking towards something, I want to see what I'm walking towards. So if I then suddenly, if the first thing I see is basically behind me, that it's a bit weird. So make sure that when you're adding this hotspot, that the view angle actually supports that, okay? So we click Save Rotation. And the last thing that I want to talk about today is a screenshot. And a screenshot actually enables you, well, it basically says already, take a standard photo from within the tour. So most of you obviously hire a professional photographer to do this standard photography, or maybe you do it yourself. But let's say that you did hire someone and they forgot a certain photo, or you forgot a photo. Instead of doing this again, or telling the photographer, hey, I have to go back, or just a whole bunch of frustration. You want to avoid that. You can now easily just take a photo yourself. And there are different sizes. As you can see right here, now if I actually choose, okay, this is the angle that I want to take, all I need to do is save, and it will save this photo on your computer, and you can use it. There you go, that's the photo that we just took. Now, obviously, I'll be honest with you guys, the photo that is taken is definitely not as good as a photo that is taken with a professional DSLR camera, but it does the job, right? That's important. That's one of the most important things. Oh, sorry. And then, let me just click this. What I want to do is, let's look at the end result, right? So we click on the view button here at the top, and it automatically opens the tour. So every tour is a URL, right, at the top, as you can see, and it opens the tour that we just created. So let's just take a quick look on what we just edited. Here, as I said, in the top left corner, the contact information that we added in the profile section. Again, up to you whether or not we want to display it. The name of the property here at the very top, and in the info button on the right, you will see the description and the name. Okay? Here, there's also a Google Maps location that we added. And you will see right here, if I click on this this icon, this hotspot right here, that's the one that we added just now. If I click on it, it moved me to that point in the room. And as you can see, it's that walkthrough feeling because I feel like I'm walking that way, right? Which is good. Okay, and then what you see here, you have a return hotspot and you have a memo, the memo that we added, just in the end, this webinar is awesome. So, okay, that's pretty much it. There are a bunch of more editing functions that we can do, but I won't go into all of that right now. There are other options, other webinars where we can cover that. The last thing that I want to show you is about sharing this, right? Because that's important. There's a share button here at the top. You can easily share this on social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, et cetera, You can share it via email, right? Just send the link and people can open it on their smartphone or tablet. And there's a branded or a non-branded version, so you can also easily upload that to your MLS. So just add it into the 3D Tour and 3D Tour section basically, and you're good to go. And there's automatically a QR code, that's been generated. So imagine putting that QR code on on your business card, or on brochures that you have, or on an actual yard sign, right? People walk by, actually scan that code, and they're like, "Wow, shit! I can actually see this property right now. I'm interested in seeing this now, but there's nobody here. Let me just look at the tour first before I take any further action," which I think is amazing. A great way of marketing. Okay, I think that is pretty much it for now. What I would like to do, I'm just going to go back here. Stop sharing. Okay. There's a quick survey that Andrea is going to send your way right now. It takes a couple seconds for you to fill out. Okay. So if you just it'd be great if you can actually quickly fill that out for us. That'd be awesome. And then after that, there are we can go to the questions if you guys have any. Okay, let's see. All right, I think we're good. So if there are any questions, the first thing that I want to say is if you haven't signed up yet, okay, so if you don't actually have an account yet and you do want to sign up, you can sign up with the walkthrough code. So you see walkthrough displayed on the screen, walkthrough, all in capitals and caps, and it gives you a 10% discount over the regular standard pricing, okay, for the lifetime of your subscription. So standard pricing, as you guys might know, is 39 Canadian dollars a month in the case and for Ultra, and $89 a month for Ultimate, depending on the number of tours that you need. Again, for the people that actually signed up or took advantage of our show special, this is not necessary. You can basically forget about that code because you already have, have your subscription. Okay, so if there are any questions, what kind of Android phones can be used? Okay, very good question. I think almost all Android phones can be used. I'm not going to name all of them now, but we have a compatibility checker on our website. So if you go to iStaging.com, okay, you go to iStaging.com and you go to the bottom, okay, there's a little button that says compatibility checker on the left side. And if you click on that, you can enter the phone that you have and it will show you whether or not it's compatible with our VR Maker app. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, I have a Samsung 8 and I use it. Are there any further questions? Thanks, Joanne, for your question. That's great. So I want to get a compatible phone. I have an S6 and it wasn't on the list. Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look for you. Just make sure that you enter the exact right name of the phone when you enter it in the compatibility checker, because otherwise sometimes it doesn't recognize it, and if it doesn't recognize the actual model, it shows you that it isn't compatible, while sometimes it actually is compatible. So anyway, we can look into that. So make sure that you check the compatibility checker before you buy the phone, really. But I think 95% of the phones are actually compatible. So it rarely happens that we don't, or we get people saying, "Hey, it doesn't work." Okay, I think that's it, right? In terms of questions, no more questions for now. I would like to thank you all very, very much for joining this. I hope it was helpful. We'll be, we'll have a couple more webinars in the coming weeks, and we'll cover different things. So we don't do the same thing every single time. We'll look at different, different features, because obviously I didn't cover everything, but at least you've seen the basics today. If you have any questions, you can either ask me or Andrea or our local partner in Canada, which is Walkthrough Reality. So you can go to their website as well, walkthroughreality.com. The person there is Teresa Hall. We'll be very, very happy to help you out. Well, I'm glad that it was helpful, Laura. That's good news. Yeah, there you go. That's Teresa Hall, our partner. Well, I think I'm gonna end it for today. Again, thanks so much. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you guys soon again. All right, bye-bye, guys.